right. Good afternoon, Jared. How are you today?
Good, ma'am. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you so much for allowing me to record this portion of our interview. We are talking about a procurement specialist role, and your experience definitely stood out when I was reviewing your resume. So I'm going to allow you to share a little bit about your procurement experience and where you did that, because that's what impressed me most. So you have the floor.
All right. From 2019 to 2023, I was in the Army. I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. I was a unit supply specialist. We did inventory and purchasing, just handling all kinds of different equipment. But the main was inventory and purchasing. I would purchase items every time, whether it came from a pack of pencils to a whole vehicle, right? Laptops, everything you think of, we could purchase. I did a lot of that. I managed over $500 million worth on a property book. I worked directly for I guess technically a VP in civilian term. I'm still doing that on the side. I joined the reserve in 2023, so I've been there for a little over a year now. But that's pretty much the gist of it.
All right, great. So, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about like supply chain disruptions, which I'm sure is something that you have experienced. So, um, when that happens, if you have a supply chain disruption or unforeseen inventory shortage, can you tell me about a time where you handled the challenge and what you did to mitigate that?
So I was over in Japan during COVID, so a lot of things were shutting down. So we couldn't really order some things, and there's also a budget where you have to make sure the budget is good for the year. So sometimes when that fiscal year's come to an end, money gets a little tight. But really just keeping good inventory from the start, making sure you're not giving out too much at once, making sure you're just constantly keeping organized track of everything. So whether it was, I think we were running out of paper one time, and people would just come in and grab a whole box. Well, sorry, we need to, wait for a new shipment to come in, so you can maybe get half a box or something like that. Just making sure the amount of supply we have can match up with the timeline of the next shipment.
So when you were working in that role, were you reactive to the stock levels, or were you actively looking to see what you needed to order?
I was actively looking. That was the majority of the job, just making sure that we didn't ever run out, because mission can never fail in the Army. So
Mhm.
I have to make sure that we're going to be good. The guys are going to be good to go out, and we won't run out of any supplies.
Did you have to negotiate like any contracts with vendors, or was that something done on a different level in the Army?
Oh yeah, I did that too. So I had it's called a government purchase card. So I've had,
Mhm.
before we purchase anything with that card, you have to get with at least 4 different vendors and negotiate to see who has best pricing and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Do you have any specific examples you can share? Something maybe you negotiated, got a good deal on?
Uh, so many. So like, I mean, an easy one, for example, we had to rent out a venue. We had to rent out a venue for a big event, and there were like 5 different venues on the list that everybody really wanted, and they were all really pretty and much in the same price range. But we just had to. I ended up getting the cheapest one.
Okay. And then as far as the work that you're doing, now that you're out, you said that you're in the reserve, so you do have a slight obligation. Can you tell me a little bit about that, and will that affect your new permanent position?
No, so it shouldn't affect it. The schedule for the reserve is scheduled a year prior, so I will have the whole schedule for the employer a year in advance.
Perfect. Okay. Wonderful. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop this part of the interview, but don't go anywhere. We've got a few more other things to talk about.